Okay, Assalamualaikum semua. Madam Shirah here. Okay, so previously Madam did promise to all of you nak discuss topik interpretations of financial statement ataupun nama dia ratio. Okay, banyaklah nama dia. Okay, financial statement analysis, ratio analysis, alright. So I'm using the notes, okay, the one that I upload dalam Google Classroom. Okay, so kita akan guna notes tu untuk kita discuss hari ni lah. Okay, so hopefully you all semua sihat. Okay, we are at the third phase of RMO. Okay, hopefully kita masih lagi boleh maintain our momentum. Alright. Okay, so before we start, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, ratio, hopefully you all dah ada notes dengan dalam tangan you all. Okay, so ratio analysis ni, kalau you ingat lagi, kita belajar IAS 1, okay, presentations on financial statement. So according to IAS 1 presentations of financial statement, okay, a company, the organisation kena prepare apa? Kena prepare statement of financial position, kena prepare SOCI, comprehensive income, profit and loss, kena prepare cash flow, kena prepare apa lagi? Statement of changes in equity, and the last one dia kena prepare disclosure to the financial statement ataupun notes to the financial statement. However, all this statement, okay, is only meant for all this statement dia useful kalau the user of the financial statement understand what accounting is, what accounting all about. So you kena tahu juga, okay, tak semua user financial statement ni dia faham. Okay, they did not all of financial statement user understand the figure dalam you punya all the figures dalam you punya financial statement. So that's why kita perlukan ratio, okay, to interpret the company's performance. Okay, I selalu bagi tahu, okay, from the financial statement, okay, we can read through the company. From the financial statement kita boleh tahu what happened in the company sebenarnya. Okay, so basically the objective, okay, of this ratio is basically to identify the weaknesses as well as the strength of the businesses. So once you found the weaknesses, kita boleh take the appropriate steps to correct or to overcome the company weaknesses. Okay, on the other hand, alright, the business will also be able to improve overall their overall financial situations in the future. Okay, kalau you all masih lagi ingat, okay, ratio ni masa form 5 is the first topic yang you all belajar. Okay, sebenarnya accounting ni, accounts ni dia pusing-pusing daripada form 4, form 5, you buat diploma, you buat asasi, you buat CAT, part of parcel tu masih lagi ada. Okay, just the different that masa form 4, form 5 you study in bahasa Melayu. Okay, bila you dah up sikit, okay, the accounting is in English. Macam tu je. Alright. Okay, so basically there are 4 main groups. Okay, I tahu madam masa SPM, yes, okay, during SPM level hanya ada 3. Okay, sebenarnya orang besar sikit, tambah 1 lagi. Okay, so financial ratios are generally classified into 4 main groups. So kita ada profitability ratio ataupun nisbah keberuntungan. Okay, so this profitability ratio basically to measure the performance of business during the accounting period. Okay, ataupun ia bertujuan untuk mengukur tahap kemampuan sesebuah perniagaan dalam memperolehi in getting dia punya profit. Okay, the second types of ratio is liquidity ratio. Okay, so this liquidity ratio is to measure the ability of the business to meet their current obligations. Current obligation, tanggungjawab. Okay, when they become due, for example, bila nak bayar payable, bila nak bayar receivable, dan bila nak receive money from receivable and bayar kepada payable. Okay, alright, ataupun nisbah kecairan lah kita namakan dia. Okay, and the last one is activity, efficiency ataupun working capital ratio. So this ratio measure the efficiency of a business in managing their assets in order to generate the profit, revenue and also cash. And the last one is position ratio. So position ratio masih of form 5 tak cover lagi lah. Okay, so this position ratio considered the company's long-term solvency and the capital structure, basically the debts lah. Okay, alright. So what are the advantage of ratio? Okay, apa kelebihan bila you all buat ratio ni? Basically is to improve our weaknesses, okay, of the business, okay, to make sure all of our user of financial statement understand, okay, what is happening in the company, alright, and then to compare. Basically ratio ni dia akan more useful when you able to compare with different company but in the same industry, okay. You can make comparison between the year. For example, you nak compare company's performance between 2010 and also 2011. Okay, which year yang you perform better? Alright. Okay. And then this ratio is also important in order to user to ataupun apa kita punya shareholders, kita punya investors to make decision, okay, on nak invest ke tidak dalam company ni. Company ni okay ke tidak? Macam tu. Alright. So the drawbacks ataupun the disadvantage of this ratio is dia hanya akan really meaningful if you able to use it intelligently. If you able to read intelligently, okay. Alright. Next is kalau new company, okay, for example the drawbacks of the ratio ni, let's say you ni new company, okay, so bila you new company, you tak ada comparison lagi, you tak ada year to compare, itu drawbacks untuk menggunakan ratio. Okay, so kita dalam table yang madam bagi, alright, I dah classifiedkan these 4 types of ratio, okay, and then the reason why you are getting the lower ratio and why you are getting the higher ratio. Okay, so for those students yang nak nota ni, you all boleh pergi dekat Google Classroom madam. Madam rasa madam ada bagi tahu kot, ataupun you all boleh tanyalah, okay, the number ataupun kalau tak kat sini nanti, kat bawah nanti. Okay, alright, so we go through on profitability ratio. So the first one is return on equity. Number 2 is return on capital employed. Okay, alright. What are the difference between return on equity and also return on capital employed? Return on equity is to focus on the return for ordinary shareholders. Okay, alright. But number 2, return on capital employed. Okay, this one, okay, return on capital employed. Return ialah pulangan, capital ialah modal, employed ialah modal yang digunakan. So sekarang ni shareholders put some figure ataupun some capital dalam your company. Okay, for example, okay, I as a shareholders, okay, I put 50,000 dalam company A. So as a shareholders, I nak tahu when I put 50,000 in the company, how much return that I able to get. Okay, so for example, I put 50,000. 2011 I put 50,000, but I get the return 50, for example 10% lah the return. Okay, and then the next year 2012, okay, I put 50,000, but I only managed to get maybe 3%. So kenapa return tu berkurangan sedangkan jumlah modal tu masih lagi sama? So very simple, return on capital employed. Berapa return shareholder akan dapat based on capital yang kita dah bagi. Okay, alright. Next, we go through on number 3, net profit margin. Okay, very simple, net profit margin. In order for you to derive at net profit, sales minus COGS plus other revenue minus expenses, then baru you akan dapat dekat bawah tu ialah net profit margin. So basically, the reason why you punya net profit margin rendah is because of the level of operating expenses, mesti you punya cost naik. Okay, kenapa? The reason why net profit margin you rendah is because of, okay, there is an increase in the level of operating expenses. So why there's an increase in your operating expenses? It might be due to the poor cost of control. Okay, alright. So why there's a reduced okay, kenapa ada increase in your net profit margin? Basically, there must be a reduction in the level of operating expenses due to effective cost reduction program. Okay, but okay, suka yang I nak ingatkan dekat sini, whether it is increase ataupun reduction in the ratio, dia tak bermakna company tu bagus ataupun tidak. Okay, you need to identify more reason behind it. Okay, for example, okay, net profit margin during 2010 increase. Kenapa? Because of you cut staff cost, you tak bagi bonus, you tak ada increment gaji. Is it good for your long term? No. Alright? You punya pekerja maybe akan lari. Okay, so for example, net profit margin you rendah pada tahun tersebut. Kenapa? Because of you pay a higher bonus to your business, to your staff. Okay, you ada buat increment gaji, you spend a lot on R&D for example, which is good for your company. So sebenarnya dia naik ataupun turun salah satu ratio ni does not terus indicate oh bagus ataupun tidak. Okay. Alright, the next one is gross profit margin. So gross profit margin, okay, how to get you punya gross profit margin is sales minus COGS, you akan dapat gross profit. So kenapa gross profit tu rendah? Basically ada you able to control you punya purchasing. Okay, you punya cost lah. Okay, for example, you ada jumpa supplier yang able to supply a very good quality of goods material with the harga yang lebih rendah. Okay, so basically itulah reason dia. Okay, so dekat situ I dah bagi tahu dah. Okay, the reason why you dapat rendah untuk gross profit margin might be increase in purchase price of materials or increase in the production cost. Okay, this can be due to uncontrollable increase in resources price or poor cost control, or the company deliberately spend more to improve quality of output. So katakanlah you punya ratio gross profit margin rendah, so reason dia kenapa? Because of you spend more to improve quality output. Okay lah, tak ada masalah. Okay, alright, so the reason why you punya gross profit margin increase for that year is because of you able to reduce the purchases of material price. Okay, ataupun you jumpa macam yang I bagi tahu tadi lah, you jumpa supplier yang boleh provide a very harga material yang rendah tapi quality bagus. Alright, so next is asset turnover. So asset turnover very simple. Okay, asset turnover ni ialah, for example, you ada machinery. So this machinery are being used untuk produce something lah, untuk produce barang. So nak tahu asset turnover ni, from this asset, from this machinery, berapa banyak profit yang you boleh dapat from this machinery. Okay, machine ni dia jual, dia produce barang. Okay, dia produce goods. So later on this goods you akan jual. Okay, so is it this asset is bagus ataupun tidak untuk you punya company. Alright. Okay, so dekat situ I bagi tahu, okay, the reason why Jap. Asset turnover is to measure the efficiency of the use of net asset in order to generate the revenue. Okay, very simple. Dia macam ni. Okay, for example, this company, okay, this manufacturing company, dia ada beli new plant lah. Okay, dia ada beli new plant. Okay, and this new plant ni ialah mesin yang baru. Okay, maksudnya mesin yang bila you beli mesin yang baru, of course dia punya servis tu bagus, tak ada kurang kerosakan dan sebagainya, tak rosak dan sebagainya. Okay, so maybe because of that, you punya this machine, sebabkan dia baru, dia able to produce banyak barang. Okay, so dia able to produce a lot of goods, and later on these goods of course you akan jual and you are getting the revenue from these goods. Okay, itu asset turnover. Okay, so dekat sini dia kata this ratio measured the efficiency of the use of net asset in generating revenue. Tapi ada juga case di mana, okay, this company, this manufacturing company, they bought a new plant and machinery. So kita ni faham lah, bila new plant and machinery, oh, mesin yang baru mesti bagus. Tapi bila kita kira ratio, kenapa asset turnover kita rendah sedangkan this machine is a new machine? It may be because of this machine dia baru lagi, dia kata dia tak pick up lagi. Okay, dia tak dapat lagi economies of scale, ataupun you punya staff are still using you punya staff masih lagi tak tahu how to use that new machine compare dengan the old machine. Boleh jadi macam tu juga sebenarnya. Alright. Ataupun for example you ada old machine. Okay, so old machine ni dia basically kita tahulah, okay, bila sometimes old machine dia dah tak boleh nak, dia dah does not able to produce more because of dia dah nak sampai apa nama maximum estimated useful life. Okay, but somehow ada juga, okay, certain old machine orang kata lebih bagus compare dengan the new machine, because of the old machine ni dia dah biasa, ataupun staff semua ataupun the employees biasa menggunakan mesin tersebut. That is asset turnover ratio. Okay. Alright, the next one is efficiency ratio. So this efficiency ratio is to measure how well the company use its asset to generate profit, revenue and also cash. Okay, faham tadi kita cover on profitability. Okay, so profitability ni kita nak tahulah, okay, is to measure the company use the asset and control of its expenses to generate any acceptable rate of return yang kita dah budget. Okay, the next one is kita ada working capital ratio. So under working capital ratio we have 3: inventory turnover, receivable and also payable ratio. Okay, so inventory turnover, okay, dalam satu tempoh perakaunan, okay, for example from 1st January 2019 up to 31st December 2019, okay, katalah turnover kita 3 times, tak logik. For example 20 times, okay, meaning that, okay, you replace you punya inventory 20 kali. Okay, bagus ke tidak? Okay, okay, sama ada 20 kali to 20 times, so it's a very good ratio or not. Macam biasa kita macam yang I bagi tahu, ratio ni you need to compare. Okay, so let's say lah your inventory turnover 20 times for that year. Okay, tapi dalam masa yang sama 20 times tu, kenapa inventory turnover itu 20 times? Sebab apa? Tak ada orang nak beli you beli apa nama, tak ada orang nak beli you punya inventory. So inventory yang lama rosak, you kena beli yang baru pula. Okay, so obsolete inventory lah. Okay, alright. So next one is receivable ratio. So receivable average ratio ni is kalau you tengok dia punya formula, receivable balance divided by credit sales, okay, multiply with 365 days. If the question nak days lah. Kalau question nak weeks, you akan multiply with 52 weeks. Okay, if the question dia nak in a month, okay, you have to kalikan dengan 12 months. Okay, receivable ni maksudnya, okay, receivable ratio ni basically in a 1 year, berapa lama, how many days, for example days yang I bagi contoh kat sini, how many days receivable took time untuk bayar kepada you, ataupun how many days you kena tunggu untuk receive payment from your receivable. Okay, alright. So actually, okay, okay, nak kata bagus ke tidak, you kena tengok pula payable ratio ni. Payable ratio ni, okay, for example kita ambil dekat sini hari lah, okay, 365 days. Okay, so payable ratio ni kita nak tahu how many days yang kita perlukan untuk bayar kepada payable kita. Alright, payable is your liability kan. So sebenarnya kalau you tengok dalam you punya textbook, hopefully nampak lah kot. I guna ni. Okay, thought cost note ni. Okay, this one. If you able to nampak this one. Okay, okay, table ni. Okay, so sekarang ni so working capital cycle ni kita ada, okay, dalam in between you nak terima duit dengan you nak bayar, kita ada gap. So this gap we call as a working capital cycle. Okay, so we are using money that we receive from receivable untuk bayar kepada payable. Okay, so sekarang ni tempoh masa you terima duit daripada receivable untuk bayar kepada payable tu tak boleh terlalu jauh sangat, because you need the money from receivable untuk bayar kepada you punya payable. Okay, so hopefully kita boleh apa nama, gap. Okay, gap working capital cycle tu dia kena very close. Okay, jangan terlalu jauh sangat. Jika kita takut kalau kita terima duit lambat from receivable, definitely kita akan bayar lambat kepada payable. So what happen bila kita lambat bayar kepada payable? Of course kita punya reputation akan tarnish. Okay, next, payable maybe dah tak nak granted kita any discount. Kita akan miss discount yang payable, our payable dah bagi kat kita dulu. Okay, so kita tak nak benda-benda macam tu berlaku. Okay, so the next one is liquidity ratio. Okay, very simple. Liquidity ratio ada dua. There are two types of liquidity ratio: current ratio and also quick ratio. Other name for quick ratio ialah acid test ratio. Okay, alright. So the different dia ialah quick ratio ataupun acid test ratio. Kalau you tengok dekat formula dia, current asset minus inventory. Okay, kenapa minus inventory? Because of inventory ialah aset yang paling lambat liquidate. Inventory ialah aset yang paling lambat cair bila berlakunya liquidation lah. Okay, kenapa inventory ni lambat cair? Okay, kenapa inventory ni dia lambat nak liquidate? Because of bila berlakunya apa-apa, inventory ni, you tahu kan, inventory kita kena jual, kita kena cari buyer. Okay, or sometimes inventory kita obsolete, tak ada orang nak beli. Okay, alright. Okay, so itu beza dia. Okay, current ratio kita includekan you punya inventory. Quick ratio kita delete, kita minus you punya inventory. So untuk current ratio and also quick ratio, you kena how much jawapan yang you dapat tu, you akan nisbahkan dengan 1. So that one, yang 1 tu, okay, for example you kira you dapat 3.2 nisbah 1. Okay, 3.2 to 1. Alright, so 3.2 represent your asset, 1 represent your liability. Meaning that, okay, with 3.2 asset, you able to cover one of you punya liability. So selamat lah. Okay, you ada 3.2 asset to cover your one liability. So at least you ada backup 2.2. Betul tak Madam Kiga? Yelah kot kan Madam Field Matematik. Okay, 3.2 to 1. So 3.2 is your asset, 1 is your liability. Okay, so with 3.2 asset, you can cover one of you punya liability. You ada balance lagi 2.2 asset. So this balance 2.2 asset, maybe you boleh invest anywhere. Okay, untuk increasekan you punya company's return. Okay, alright. So nak kata bagus ataupun tidak, okay, whether the company is in a poor liquidity or improvement in liquidity, basically you need to compare. Okay, kata kalau for example, okay, your company 3.2 to 1. Okay, but on average industry 1.1. Something wrong with your company sebenarnya. Meaning that company you tak invest banyak. Basically terlalu banyak aset dalam company pun tak elok juga. Okay, meaning that you punya asset tu stuck kat situ, you tak invest. Basically 3.2 tu you boleh invest lagi sebenarnya. Okay, alright. So katakanlah your company are getting katakanlah 1 to 1. Okay, but basically on average industry 0.5 to 1. Okay, so kita kena compare. Okay, tak boleh stand alone lah. Alright, then your ratio becomes much better. Okay, alright. So I guess this one is the last one. Yes, okay, position ratio. So position ratio, there are two types ratio dia. Okay, so the reason why kita calculate this position ratio is to consider the company's long-term solvency and capital structure. Tadi yang liquidity ratio ni ialah short-term debts. Okay, kalau position ratio is to measure you punya long-term debts. Okay, so under position ratio kita ada interest cover and also gearing. Okay, so any business, okay, bila kita nak buat business, of course you akan acquire some loan from bank. Okay, you nak beli buildings, you nak beli plant and machinery, okay, mesti ada loan. Okay, so loan tu pula dia ada terbahagi kepada dua. Okay, so the first one is principal part and also the interest part. Okay, so the interest cover, okay, so the interest cover ratio considered the number of times a company could pay its interest payment using the profit from operations. So nak tahu daripada profit yang you dapat ni, profit from operation you able tak nak cover interest? Kita tak nak you loss, tapi you ada interest kena bayar. Yang itu maybe you punya company dah over trading. Okay, alright. So next is gearing. Okay, biasa dengar tak high geared and low geared? Okay, so katakanlah you kira-kira gearing, okay, non-current liabilities over total equity plus